Synopsys sees a number of real benefits from its involvement in ECEDHA. In this environment, we're able to give and to receive. Some of the things that we think we're able to give is just to provide updates on Synopsys' involvement in universities and some of the technology that we provide. And this is really an ideal environment to be able to do that. I think Synopsys also receives a lot from this environment. We're able to learn about trends in the university environment, teaching trends, some of the focus areas that university is putting on their students. Some of the focus on diversity, which is also very important to Synopsys, is highlighted in this environment. And since we recruit so many new college hires, getting exposed to the trends in the universities is really a significant benefit to us in a way which we receive from being here. And really, it's really an amazing environment to interact with such a diverse set of universities in a short period of time in a way that would really be impossible if we tried to coordinate meetings and visits to universities. We're able to do so much over this conference, and that's really valuable to Synopsys. Well, first, it's important to recognize where Synopsys fits in the bigger picture. We are a software company, and we focus on design automation tools for chip design and in the semiconductor part of the industry. And so our ability to benefit the industry is really focused on semiconductors and design automation. And in that domain, we offer a variety of teaching modules that universities can use in that area. And actually, there's over 150 modules that Synopsys has put together that include lecture material, labs, questions, things that a university could use to help teach in these areas of integrated circuit design and EDA, or design automation. These areas change rapidly, and especially some smaller teaching universities may find it hard to stay abreast of the trends. And so by providing these materials, it's direct access to what's going on, and it enables a university to either use them as is or to put them together and make them a foundation for building their own curriculum and their own material, and have that resource to affirm that what they're doing is up to date and reflects what's going on in the industry. Additionally, for the IC design flow, we offer a set of what we call PDKs, or process design kits. And we have them for 90 nanometer as well as a 3228 nanometer set. And that includes standard cell libraries and all of the tech files and related collateral that need to go with it in order to do 90 nanometer or 3228 nanometer design process. And you can use these as is, and you can set them up for projects, for graduate work and research work. And we have worked with a number of universities. I myself have worked with two closely who have seen tremendous benefit of these technology pieces that Synopsys offers. Well, the question of trends is an important question, and one that we look at Synopsys very often. One of the trends that we've definitely seen is a rash of mergers and acquisitions among the semiconductor companies, and that has made an impact on the size and the number of large semiconductor companies in the industry. And we have seen a trend against the small startup type model. But there's also been some other interesting technology trends. Everyone likes to talk about IoT, and certainly that is a trend, a large topic of conversation and of work, and it particularly in semiconductors has an impact on the importance of low power for the IoT market. We haven't really seen IoT dominate, and it's still an emerging trend, but one that has really taken off to an extreme degree is the automotive sector, and that has really become a large part of what is going on in IC design, and reliability is the key component in the automotive market that we have to pay attention to, and we know our customers are paying attention to. And there's another trend that we're seeing in industry, not technological, but more logistical and organizational. And that is the trend towards companies trying to do a lot more with a lot less. And what that means is that engineers on design teams are really being stretched. They're being asked to know more about the design flow. They're being asked to accomplish more with fewer number of people in a shorter period of time. And so what we find is that the designers, especially the young designers, are tending to be a jack of all trades, but really not a master of any. And this is something that impacts us at Synopsys because there's a high degree of expertise that's involved in some of the things that are being done with our tools. And so we like to encourage and would like to encourage students to, certainly there's benefits in being a jack of all trades, but try to be a master of at least one to increase your value and to enable a deeper level of technical dialogue. Well, I've had the privilege of speaking to EC students on a number of occasions. Synopsys hires quite a few interns, and I'm able to, I've had the opportunity to speak with them as well as to IEEE and other organizations on campus. And so this is a question that I've given some thought to and have had the opportunity to answer. Two things that I'll highlight here in this context. One is to be a questioner, and the second is to be an effective communicator. When I talk about being a questioner, students oftentimes work in a mode where they're focused on answering questions. Tests and your coursework is very much about knowing the answers to questions. And preparing for the job market, you think about being prepared to answer the questions that an interviewer in a company might ask. But I encourage students to stay curious and to be questioners, always seeking the answers to questions, being eager to ask of their professors, of their coworkers, of people they may meet. In an interview, I love to have an interviewee who, when I ask them, do you have any questions, actually has a sequence of very thoughtful questions, things that they would like to know. And I would encourage students to think along those lines. Secondly, students really need to be effective communicators. And I think in school, this is an area where they come with real weaknesses, potentially, possibly from a lack of experience, but it's a very important area. And in communication, there are two things that students need to focus on. They need to focus on the type of communication, and they need to focus on the audience of communication. The type of communication can be varied. It can be written, it can be verbal, it can be email, it can be presentations. And the audience to communication is varied as well. It can be to peers, it can be to a group, it can be to a partner in another country or in another state that you've never met before. It can be to management. And communication has to be catered to the method and to the audience to be effective. And students need to learn this. And oftentimes as we interact with interns, we find that they're inexperienced in this area and require some coaching. But anything they can do to be more effective, to think about these things as they communicate, will serve them really well.